What's up, SpiceDroppers? It's Charlie from Ferndale. Welcome to Basically a Chef, where we talk about the basics of cooking. Today we're going to talk about marinade, and I'm going to bring you through 3 different basic marinades that you can kind of play with and mess with to make your own awesome recipes at home. So when you're talking marinade, you need to remember the rules of 3. The first rule of 3 is that there are 3 main parts of a marinade. The first part is a fat, which can include any oils such as olive oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, etc. You can also use dairy fats like buttermilk or what we're going to use today, yogurt. There's also fats such as ghee, which is clarified butter, or you can actually use mayonnaise, which we are going to use today as well. The second part of a marinade is the acid. The most popular of these acids would probably be a vinegar. You can use red wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, etc. You can also use wines, red or white. You can really use anything with a higher pH. So tomato juice, pineapple juice, another popular one is citrus juice. And actually, if you use yogurt or buttermilk as the fat, those are also higher pH, so that you're going to be able to use that as the acid as well. And the third part of the marinade is the spices. You can do any sort of spice mixture that you want, that you can dream of, that you can imagine. You could also use brown sugar, molasses, honey. You do want to be careful with the sweet stuff though. If you add too much, it can burn before the meat is cooked. You need the fat because the meat is fat soluble, so that fat is going to get into the meat and bring all those flavors from the spices and whatnot and bring those into the meat. You need the acid because the acid has enzymes in it that will get into that meat and you tenderize it. And then you obviously want the flavors to add flavor to the meat. Anyway, enough talking, let's get cooking. Alright, so now that we're cooking, we come to our second rule of 3, and that is that we have 3 parts fat to 1 part acid. That's just a general rule that most marinades abide by. So for this first basic marinade, I'm using 3 parts olive oil to 1 part red wine vinegar. I'm not going to put the recipes for all these marinades in the description because my goal here is to just get everyone messing around with marinades, but I will for the most part be using 3/4 cup fat to 1/4 cup acid. I also have some pre-chopped onion and garlic that I'm putting in this, and I'm going to be using herbs from Provence, also known as Herbe de Provence, or however you pronounce that. One thing I did forget in this marinade was salt. You definitely want to add salt to most marinades, because that will help all of those ingredients get into that meat. But we're just going to give this a quick whisk, and then I'm going to coat the chicken with it. I want to make sure to get into all those nooks and crannies of the chicken with this. I did take a flat side of a tenderizer to all this chicken earlier, so it is nice and flat to ensure even cooking, and it has a much larger surface area to get all that flavor on there. You can keep whatever you're marinating in a bowl. I just prefer to use these quart-sized bags. Go ahead and throw the rest of that marinade in there, put this in the fridge, and now we move on to the second marinade. So for the second marinade, I was thinking kind of a Dijon honey mustard flavor profile. So I'm going to go in with 3/4 cup of mayonnaise to 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard. That Dijon mustard does have a higher pH, so it will act as an acid, but I'm also going to put in the juice of half of an orange. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some of those pre-chopped onions. I am not putting the garlic in this one. And then I have my honey here, which appears to be crystallized and I can't get it out of the jar. Pro tip, if your honey crystallizes, it doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's hard. Throw it in the microwave for 20 seconds and then you'll be able to pour it right out of the bottle. Now I'm going to add some cinnamon to this as well. And we're going to go ahead and mix this up. And then, oh yeah, I almost forgot the salt this time too. Throw some salt in there, mix again, and then we can do the same thing. Coat the chicken. We're going to bag that, put it in the fridge, and move on to marinade number 3. This third and final marinade is inspired by tandoori chicken, which is an Indian dish made from chicken marinated in yogurt and spices. But we're going to start with 1 cup of yogurt here. With this one, I'm not really using that 3-to-1 method because this yogurt acts as both the fat and the acid. I am going to add a little extra olive oil for the fat content, but that's also going to make this a little bit creamier, so that it's easier to get onto and around all of the chicken. Now I'm going to go in with my pre-chopped onions and garlic again. I'm going to add quite a bit of cumin here. I have some oregano. I have some ground cardamom, also some ground turmeric, a little bit of cinnamon again in this one, and I'm going to use quite a bit of paprika, more for color than anything. And of course, we're going to add salt to this again, and I am putting some pepper in this as well. Now we're going to go ahead and mix this up, and this is a thicker mixture, so when you do add the chicken, you really want to make sure to coat the chicken with this. And actually, as I put this in the bag too, I'm going to kind of layer it. Chicken, marinade, and then kind of squeeze it all around. But we have the 3 marinades now. I kept these in the fridge overnight. You want to marinate for at least 8 hours before cooking. I'm going to go ahead and take these out to the grill, and I'll see you soon. Alright, here we have the finished product. On your left, we have the basic oil, vinegar, seasoning, much like you would get from using Italian dressing. In the middle, we have that tandoori inspired. You can see that beautiful color. And what you can't see is that there are still delicious little caked on bits of that yogurt marinade. And then on the right, we have the Dijon honey mustard. And I gotta tell you, these all smell amazing, but that Dijon honey mustard is making me really excited to try it. So let's get to it. All right, SpiceDroppers, I got a little bit of each one here. I'm gonna go with the standard oil, vinegar, spices, classic Italian flavor. I wanna try this Dijon. Oh yeah. Oh man, it's got like a creamy coating on it. With that honey. Oh man, that's good. Another tandoori inspired. That's really good too. That would be really good on some rice. All the winners. And remember, just like take this. This is basics. You take this and you make it your own. It's great. Boom, baby, we did it again. Peace and love, SpiceDroppers. I love you.